1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Hey, so I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light, see the light.
Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this series. This series is sort of meant to be sort of like a handbook of narcissistic relationship terminology. And this series is being put out there to sort of help you get more familiar with terms you may not know, and also learn about patterns and techniques that may be helpful for you in managing your narcissistic relationship. Today, we're going to take on the term narcissistic supply, a term I know many of you know. But before I do that, please just hit the bell and subscribe to this channel. You'll not only get daily updates about this series coming out, but also about all of the other content we have on this channel. So let's go ahead and start and talk about this idea of narcissistic supply. So imagine you were relying on a tank on your back for air, like a scuba diver would. And then someone kinked your hose or turned off your air tank. What would you do? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious. You would most likely, most of us, would panic. You'd be desperately gasping, doing anything you could to get that air turned on or get the air unkinked so it's coming back to you. You'd become agitated. You would do anything you could so you could get your air supply. And once you did get that air supply and you breathed it in, you'd be fine. You might be aggravated, but you'd be fine. And that, in a sense, is how a narcissist feels. That's how they feel when they can't get validation, they can't get admiration, they can't get recognition or attention. They psychologically feel as though they are gasping for air. In a way, you might even feel a little bad for someone if they were in that situation. If you were thinking, is that really how they feel? Like they can't breathe if they can't get air? Do they really get that panicky if they can't get their validation and admiration? If they can't get their supply? Yeah, that's how they feel. sort of starts making sense. Because narcissistic supply is, in fact, the validation, the acknowledgement, the admiration, the recognition, the gratification, the reward, or whatever else it is that narcissists get from other people or from other sources, such as social media. And this can include a whole variety of things. This can include things like getting compliments, getting awards, getting applause, or just simply giving them the opportunity to sit there and talk, and hold court. Narcissistic supply, it's a cynical term. It's basically reducing or labeling all of the social interactions of the narcissist as serving the largely singular purpose of only doing one thing, and that's to validate the narcissist. So in this way, interactions with a narcissist don't tend to be reciprocal or sort of what we call two-way conversations or interactions. Rather, they are often you feeling as though you are serving a function for the narcissist in the conversation. Maybe you're giving them information. Maybe you're giving them attention. Or maybe you're keeping them from having to be alone. Or maybe you're doing things like...
And I know. Listen, everybody loves Dr. Ramani. I love her to death. But this is not a show about narcissism, per se. What I'm about to propose to you is that wherever there are unhealed wounds, deep-seated issues, unrequited wounds, there is this thing that she described, that Dr. Ramani just described, called supply. And so we take it off the narcissist and we put it on the rest of us, right? And say the rest of us, all of us have narcissistic tendencies. But I'm starting to look very deep into this spiritual and philosophical angle that, even the clinical information says that a narcissist is created in childhood. Something happened with the primary caregivers, and that's what creates a narcissist, right? So you could argue that the wounds gained in childhood, right, causes everybody to seek some kind of supply. Woo. Anxious, preoccupied, worthiness wound. You need validation just like a narcissist. Oh my goodness. Ooh, wounds need feeding. And so what happens for most of us who are unaware, right, self-unaware of the type of wound we may have, we know we went through something. We may not know how to categorize it or label it unless we've sat down with a really skillful therapist to kind of identify what the wound may be. Wherever there is an unhealed wound, what is expectations but a type of supply? Again, you get caught up in the clinical side and they give you a name for something. And the way we think, most of us are thinking in black and white. We're thinking, that's what I am. No, all of this stuff is static. Remember, it's called attachment theory. A theory is something that's constantly being worked on and improved upon. But when the higher-ups or the folk from academia come and give us a label, we cling to the label. No, that's just a framework to try to explain something that isn't static, okay? But what I'm starting to realize is unhealed people, this is our topic tonight, tend to create a needs hierarchy in relationship. Is there an unspoken needs hierarchy within intimate relationships? Can our unhealed wounds cause us to selfishly create a needs pecking order within our intimate relationships? Can the balance between self-sacrifice and self-care be maintained without falling into the trap of hierarchical needs? Ooh, this is different. My pain matters more than your pain. See, it's easy to go to church and sit down and listen to Brother T.D. Jakes and says the person who hurt you didn't get away with it because God is dealing with him or her. And when they hurt you, they ultimately hurt themselves. But when we're only left with how you made us feel, we tend to just focus on our pain. And we will prioritize our pain, or conversely, our peace, over anybody. This is why you can lose love. And you say, what in the world? How can you lose love? What I'm saying is, I personally don't believe you can lose the love, right? But you can lose attraction. You can lose affinity. Do you understand? And so in a relationship, I don't want to compete, right, with the appetite of your wounds, right? Your needs, because wherever there's wounds, there are needs. Your wounds and their needs do not and should not take precedence over my needs and my wounds. Why? Because we are the caretakers of our wounds and needs, not our partners. It is our responsibility to provide for ourselves. But here's the danger part. Because we're human beings and we're wired for connection, we think our partner should do some of the heavy lifting when it comes to our own development, when it comes to unraveling some of these knots. No, we are in the passenger seat of your journey, and you are in the passenger seat of my journey, but I'm behind the wheel. And if I drive towards healing, you're just a passenger. You're not responsible for taking this wound where it needs to go or where it shouldn't go. See, we put too much on our partners. And this is why sometimes we have a stronger, more committed relationship to our wounds than we do our partners. Because our partners come in as a type of butler to the wound. And we label that as a good partner. Right? How do unconscious hierarchies of need develop within relationships? And can they be traced back to our childhood models of love, attachment, and care? Could the presence of an unspoken need hierarchy indicate a deeper imbalance? Oh my goodness, a deeper imbalance in self-awareness and mutual respect within relationships? How might unhealed childhood wounds influence the creation of a needs pecking order in relationships? And what role does self-awareness play in addressing this? Listen, in the world of hurt, in the world of unrequited wounds, you can't have a bougie wound. Your wound can't be the top 1%. You got a 1%er wound? Your wound takes precedence? Your wound is a higher echelon wound than mine? Not in relationship. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying oftentimes we behave this way. We behave as if our hurt matters more. Right? How does the teachings of Krishnamurti on self-observation without judgment help us to understand the dynamics of need hierarchies in relationships? Oof. How does Ross Rosenberg's concept of self-love deficit disorder, SLDD, explain the tendency to create or accept a needs hierarchy within intimate relationships? What is a needs hierarchy? Wait. SLDD, self-love deficient disorder? Yeah, the people pleaser. I'm going to put my needs to the side for your needs. But I'm only doing that because I get some type of boomerang payback from that action. Oh my goodness. I get approval. I get acknowledgement. I get acceptance. Do you see how wounds, unhealed wounds, have supply? We tend to think only narcissists are vampiric, right? In their approach to human beings. No, we all are some type of energy vampire, right? And your wounds, unhealed wounds, they need supply. In what ways does Iyanla Van Zant's work on self-healing empower individuals to break free from the cycle of self-neglect and establish a more balanced approach to mutual feelings? Oh man, this is about to get deep, deep, deep. Is there an unspoken needs hierarchy within your intimate relationships? Have you been made to feel as if your feelings are a second-class citizen in your relationship? Somebody called it spoiled brat wounds, spoiled wounds. Have your feelings been put to the side because of this unspoken needs hierarchy? Have you ever experienced it? Have you done it to others? I'm interested to know. When I come forward, the phone lines are open. 1-800-920-1580. Let's get cooking.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580. Tabitha Smiley's new book, The Covenant with Black America, 20 years later, is now on sale everywhere. This classic text shot to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list almost 2 decades ago. If you have the original book, you will surely want to get this 20th anniversary edition with powerful new contributions from today's leading voices. This 20th anniversary edition presents a compelling blend of historical insights and contemporary urgency in this critical and unprecedented election year. Get your copy of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later today.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Helping to broaden your political and moral imagination with our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
The basic fear is control. The basic fear, see, grief is hanging on to the past, the crest of the wave that is just past. You're clinging to that, that's the past. Fear is the anticipation of the rising crest of the wave. So fear lives in the future, guilt lives in the past. Huh? And all fears, when we get to the thing on fear, we'll do it. All fears eventuate as fear of physical death. All fears, no matter what your fear is. And you get to that knowing this by doing the and then what? I'm afraid that I won't get a raise, yes, and then what? And then I'll be broke, yes, and then what? And then I'll lose the job, and then what? And then I'll be unemployable, and then what? And then the wife will leave me, and then what? And then I'll be homeless, and then what? And then you'll starve to death, and then what? If you take every and then what and surrender it to God. All right, so you're unemployed. I've been unemployed. You'll have no money. I've been penniless long periods of time. You'd be poor, penniless, and then eventually you'll die. So you do the and then what? And then what? If I don't get what I want, and then what? And then I'll be disappointed, and then what? So each and then what brings up a consequence. And as you surrender the consequence, which is the resistance, the obstruction, you will always end up with the fear of physical death.
Let me get in here, man. Zoe's trying to revolutionize this thing. Okay? I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't want me to recontextualize it, but I am. All forms of asking, supplication, is an admission, of lack. An expectation is an admission of lack. In intimate relationships, we expect our partners to jigsaw puzzle fit us based on what is missing from us. I know you don't want to hear it, right? We want to villainize the narcissist. I say, oh, the narcissist, validation, appreciation, acknowledgement, self-righteousness, exaltation, reciprocity, safety. That's us too. If you got an unhealed wound, you have a demand. You have an ask. If you have an ask, there is laxity in you. There is lack in you. And guess what? It's only lack based on what you believe about yourself. What do you believe about yourself? It was modeled in your childhood. It's not just the narcissist that needs supply. It's us as well. So wounds demands, right? Wound demands, as I call it. Wound demands, aka supply. What is the supply? Attachment styles tell us that there are attachment wounds. If you wasn't taken care of as a kid, you become avoidant. If your needs weren't met, you were avoidant. And there's a couple of styles of avoidance, right? Dismissive avoidant. Do it yourself. Be independent. Independence is everything, right? Fearful avoidant. Oh my God. The source of love is terrifying. I love them, but I'm scared of them. They've abused me psychologically, emotionally, physically, sexually even. I love them, but I'm scared. So now I got two wounds. Wherever there is a wound, there's also a demand for supply. Anxious, preoccupied, I didn't feel like I was enough. So I became a people pleaser to my parent first, so I could be seen, so I could be heard, so I could be acknowledged. Oh, I'm going to carry all of this to adult relationships. And then I'm going to get savvy, and I'm going to make these relationship expectations. That is supply. Wherever there's an unhealed wound, there is a demand. Now, relationship is the crucible by which you heal yourself. When I come forward, I'm going to get even deeper. We got a lot.
There's something wrong with my life. When I dial my baby's number, I get a click every time. Mr. Telephone Man, something's wrong with my life. I dropped down her number, but I get a click every time.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Sentencing is being postponed for a Toledo, Ohio civil rights activist who has been convicted of misusing funds. Sir Major Page was arrested in 2020 after he misused money donated to a group called Black Lives Matter of Greater Atlanta. Authorities say Page used the funds to purchase luxury clothing, a house, drinks at bars and nightclubs, firearms, and more. Page has been found guilty of wire fraud and money laundering and was scheduled to be sentenced on Monday. However, his sentencing has been postponed to the beginning of October. He faces 7 years in prison. A St. Louis barbecue festival is being canceled less than 2 weeks before it was supposed to start. Organizers announced that Q in the Lou will not take place this year. The reasons for canceling the event included low VIP ticket sales and a lack of corporate sponsors. In a statement, Black Mayor Tashara Jones' office expressed disappointment at Q in the Lou being canceled and encouraged the event to return next year. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles is a nonprofit law firm that protects and advances the rights of the most underserved, leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone can have access to the justice system. Every year, LAFLA provides free, high-quality legal services to more than 100,000 people living in poverty across greater Los Angeles. Their unique combination of neighborhood offices, self-help centers at courthouses, and domestic violence clinics puts Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles on the front lines in vulnerable communities and at the forefront of change. LAFLA's expert team of attorneys, paralegals, and support staff works to provide direct representation, offer counsel and advice, provide referrals, and educate the community about their legal rights through workshops and seminars. With locations all over LA, you can access their services or volunteer to help no matter where you live. And if you have an urgent issue, call 213-235-0060. That's 213-235-0060. To get legal help, make a donation, or volunteer, visit LAFLA.org. LAFLA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Didn't you know I loved you from the start, yeah? Think about all the years we put in this relationship. Who knew we'd make it this far? Then I think about
remember that not everybody is going to be able to, for one reason or another, validate you all the time. So you need to be able to validate yourself. If they don't agree with it, or if they're not providing the attention and quality time and validation that you need, all right, where can you get it from? So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Rely on other people. Know that you've got other friends that are there to support you, even if one friend is kind of flaking out right now. Do we need validation from our higher power? And if you're a spiritual person, you may want to believe that your higher power approves of you. So again, that's a relationship that nobody else is taking part in. So you need to be able to have a good communication with that higher power, or a feeling in your head, heart, and gut that says, I am doing right by my higher power, and I'm making my higher power proud of me. If that is a validation that you need.
Cut it off. That's a wound. Do you see? Even the clinicians, everybody, that is a wound talking. When you become what you seek, asking for it becomes redundant. That is an actual wound talking. So this is, let me just say, let me stop everybody, because people been hitting me up like crazy all day long, all weekend long. Yo, you see Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, Cam Newton? Did you see her with Nick Cannon? Did you? I gave her start. 2015, she was a co-host on my show. She's amazing, beautiful sister, intelligent, did her thing. I'm happy for it. Yo, yes, we got to celebrate those moments. She came out, did her thing, handling her business. I remember her first book is called The Mental Detox, and that was a book she gave to me in 2014, 2015, and then I read it, and then brought her on as a co-host for The Voice of Reason while it was on Dash Radio. She was with me for a while. She was great, right? And it's good to see her doing this. But let me explain something to y'all. I'm here to turn it upside down. The old ideas, old concepts don't work anymore. So watch what I'm about to tell you based off of the clip we just heard. Okay? Lady said, oh, you got to find a way to validate yourself. Well, what about your relationship with God? You got to get with God and feel it in your head, heart, and gut to see if God approves of it. Listen, still from the thought process that the person and God are separate. Duality. That's a lower level of consciousness. Okay? That's a lower level of consciousness. When you reach a higher level of consciousness, you recognize there is only one. Somebody put on Frankie Beverly and Mays, We Are One. Somebody put that on for me real quick. Do you understand what I'm saying? We are one. Source is one. But you have to raise to that level of consciousness to understand that. So I think it is counterproductive and really dangerous to tell somebody, right? To tell somebody, you got to provide for yourself. Right? You gotta, instead of looking for somebody else to fulfill your needs, you have to fill your needs. Let me tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna create a narcissist. See, you can't, let it flow for us. You can't start the healing process, or you can't fulfill your own needs until you start the healing process. That's what I'm trying to say. If you fulfill your needs from the lower levels of consciousness, shame, guilt, apathy, fear, anger, you're going to become a narcissist. See, what happens in relationships is quite clear. Somebody hurt you and you're already unhealed, you're going to be like, cool, I see. So now you're jaded. And not only are you jaded, You're more judgmental of yourself. You're more judgmental of other people. You are inflexible. Your boundaries are built on fear. So peep game. We're going to use Dr. David R. Hawkins' clip. Now, you heard him talk before about fear. We played his clip earlier. But in his consciousness grid, right? Listen to what I'm about to tell you. At the bottom is shame. It's at 20. That's where he calibrates shame numerically. It's at 20. We got to get to a space that he calls neutrality. That's at 250. That's a giant leap of consciousness from shame to neutrality. Where are you going with this, though? We can't get mutual in relationships until we get neutral within ourselves. Do you see? The key to relationships is mutuality, mutual respect, mutual appreciation, mutual reciprocity, mutual love, mutual acknowledgement, mutual approval, mutual pedestalization, mutual representation, mutual safety. If I'm heard, you heard. If I'm seen, you. Mutuality. That is a level of consciousness. You can't get mutual until you get neutral. If you're down on the lower levels of consciousness, right? Fear, guilt, shame, apathy. Somebody telling you provide for your own needs. You're going to provide selfishly. You're going to provide from a hurt space. You're going to provide from a wounded space. You're not going to provide for yourself from a healed space. You think you can be hurt and wounded and provide for yourself from that same level of toxicity. It's the same thing Einstein said. You cannot expect a new level of consciousness from an old one. And you've heard what he said. We be expecting a different outcome. No, that's the definition of insanity. It's a beautiful record right now. But let me tell you, when I come forward, I'm going to get on the phone with some of my peoples, because I know y'all want to talk about this. This is heavy stuff tonight. When we come forward, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to Miami, Florida.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Hey LA, be an eco-friendly hero. Join LADWP's Power Savers program and use your smart thermostat to help ease strain on the electric grid during peak electric demand. You'll save electricity while you lower your bill. Plus, as a power saver, you can get up to $185 in prepaid gift cards. Don't have a smart thermostat? No problem. Shop and sign up at ladwp.com/Power Savers program. That's ladwp.com/Power Savers program. To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
What if the conversation about menopause and bladder leaks didn't have to be a secret? Always Discreet helps you embrace this new chapter with confidence, offering a bladder leak solution that keeps you worry-free. Its rapid dry core quickly locks away even the biggest gushes with up to 0 leaks, 0 wet feel, and 0 odor, so you can jump, dance, sneeze, and laugh uninterrupted. Everyday protection for every level of leak. We've got you, always. Try Always Discreet today.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't back down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
On a perfect day, I know that I can count on you. When that's not possible, tell me, can you ever stop? 'Cause I need somebody who will stand by me through the good times and bad times. He would always be right there. Sunny days, everybody loves them. Tell me, baby, can you stand the rain?
People don't often realize this, but when they act like haters, they are telling on themselves. They're giving you an in into their shadow self on a silver platter, literally telling you what their deepest vulnerabilities and insecurities are. I'm going to break down exactly how this happens and how to use this information to protect yourself against haters and bullies. When someone is a hater, you can actually learn a lot more about them than they can learn about you. Obviously, as somebody with a social media presence, I encounter a decent amount of haters. And when you've been doing this for a while and you have a background in depth psychology, it becomes extremely transparent the way that people project onto you their own issues, their own shadow selves. And not just that, but it also becomes very easy to use that information to learn about the other person rather than letting it get to you as a person. But first, we kind of have to talk about what exactly being a hater is, because I think it's important to operationalize this. Being a hater is not the same as criticism. Criticism is somebody respectfully disagreeing with you or giving constructive negative feedback. For example, let's say they are giving a presentation in school and everyone in the class has to give you feedback on a rubric. Criticism would be somebody saying, I feel like it would improve your public speaking if you made more eye contact with your audience. Versus being a hater has a few different components. For one, it's expressing criticism in a disrespectful, rude, or disproportionately emotional or harsh way. Like instead of the example I just gave, being a hater would say, why do you never look at your audience when you talk to them? Are you a psychopath or something with these shifty eyes? So that's one component of somebody hating on you. Another component.
People be hating. People gonna people. It's all right. It's okay. That quote I stumbled over. I had a brain flatulence. The quote is, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, it is attributed to Einstein, but they say there is really no evidence to say he actually said that, but it's still a meaningful quote here. When I came forward, I was talking about there's no way to really fill your cup from the inside unless you start the healing process. It's easy to tell people, oh, you have to fulfill your own needs. Well, what you're doing is creating a selfish monster. You're creating somebody who's going to be self-centered, who's going to be conceited, who's going to be arrogant. I did it myself. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. I'm just saying, especially if they're wounded, if they're hurt, if they've gone through something and they haven't reconciled it. Okay? Fulfilling one's need from that space. I mean, just think of it. 50 Cent. The name of the album that set him off, Get Rich or Die Trying. Listen, he got shot 5 times. So it becomes this motivating factor. Do you understand? All I'm saying is we can't get to mutuality until we get to neutrality. We got to get clear of ourselves, get neutral on what happened in the past, on what we modeled, so then we can be mutually respectful, mutually loving, mutually giving, right? Can't get mutual until you get neutral. Now, once you reach the level of 250 on Hawkins' map of consciousness, you have reached the level of neutrality. Without beginning the healing process first, it is very difficult to give in a selfless way due to your lower consciousness and poor modeling during childhood. The healing process must begin in earnest prior to attempting to meet the needs of another, right? Prior to trying to meet your own needs. I'm just trying to be clear with you guys. It's very important that you understand this. We got callers on the line. People want to talk about it. Is there a needs hierarchy in your relationship? Does the needs of your partner supersede or outweigh your own needs? I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. Hustle from Miami. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
What's up, brother? As soon as I seen the topic, I called in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is kind of particular to my ascension and my personal growth journey. Mm-hmm. So I was gonna provide a little bit of a pushback to what you're saying, but you cleaned it up pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. This is the second night I done cleaned something up. Go ahead.
Well, you started by saying, without being healed, you still have an importance of needs and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But where I've arrived at, and the reason you cleaned it up is because you started talking about the lower self and the higher self. And that's operating on the lower self. You know what I mean? We're talking about jealousy and those type of things. However, once you start connecting to that other part of self, which would be the source, which is to say, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. That's the, what do you say, neutrality, as you call it?
Yes.
That's the anchor point.
Yes.
Start at I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mind is what's telling you about the different information and what if this person does this and this and that and that and that. However, you can't use that as, like you said, you're talking about hierarchy. That cannot be at the top of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So when you start at I'm okay, now you're just figuring out how to play with the situation, how to have fun, the purpose of the situation. Mm-hmm. It's no longer about listening to needs. Because when the needs are talking and they're louder than the source, now you start following the needs.
Come on. I'm right with you. Come on. Let's go.
I'm telling you, I'm at a different place right now with this stuff. It's what it does is when you start listening to if this person doesn't do this, it's basically telling you that I'm not okay. If they don't call me back, I'm not okay. If they don't talk to me a certain way, I'm not okay. So it causes that friction, and it puts a pressure on the other person, even though those thoughts are coming from within you.
Keep going.
You get what I'm saying? And once you really at that place of the source of saying, I'm okay no matter what, I'm okay first, everything else is almost external. You almost choose to listen to what you listen to on the inside. Yeah, you perceive it, you observe it, but you observe it, measure it, and let it go, just like a river. You don't hold on to the things that are flowing through the river. You let the things flow through the river. You know what I'm saying? That's how you keep the water fresh.
I love it, bro.
We sitting around with the stagnant water, wondering why we feeling all toxic inside. You understand? Because we're not letting it flow. That's just what it is.
Hustle habit, man. Guess what you just did?
Stay accountable.
You already know what it is. Miami in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. The unhealed wounds of our past often dictate the choreography of our present. I know people don't want to hear it. These wounds, formed through childhood, modeling, and psychological conditioning, silently shape a hierarchy of needs within our relationships, leading us to selfishly prioritize our desires over those of our partners. But let me hit you in another way. The narcissist has flying monkeys. The expectations of a wounded heart are the flying monkeys. See, people don't understand. What is a flying monkey? A flying monkey is somebody that's going to, have the back of the narcissist, somebody that's going to stand up for the narcissist. But when you're wounded, and those wounds are actually writing expectations for how somebody should be in a relationship and how they should fulfill their needs, those expectations serve as a type of flying monkey for this wound, an emissary, so to speak. Man, this is... When we come forward, we got so much more to talk about. If you want to join it, jump in.
Stand by me, girl. When it's touching, you won't run. She will always be right there for me.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Sentencing is being postponed for a Toledo, Ohio civil rights activist who has been convicted